Greetings, you are listening to Sound Art Radio, and this is Magical Fun Time with Dr. Ergo Phizmiz and Lord Lottie Depresstival of Bowater. And I would like to start today by talking about one of the subjects that everybody talks about, which is, to some extent, this is kind of a topical current affairs show sometimes, and so talking about popular or current subjects is... yeah, exactly.
Folk art.
Yeah. So,
Folk horror.
I want to talk about AI, specifically AI music. AI... actually, we should be calling it what it is, which is machine learning. It is softwares that learn by interaction, and also that raid the internet and raid human history for its material. At the very beginning of when AI art first came out, naturally, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at a new tool, because I'm a utopian, futurist artist, and, I'm interested in new forms of expression. So, when AI art first came about, I thought it was at least mildly interesting. But what I thought was interesting at the time was the idiosyncrasies of it, because it was initially very much imperfect. It was, until they rolled out updated versions, you got a strange response from the machine as to what you asked, and it had a level of unpredictability. And when DALL-E, the AI art thing, when they launched their outpainting feature, that also was potentially very interesting. I'll tell you why it's interesting. Because if you made an image prompt for one image and then select the edge of that image and ask it to continue the image, but then give, say, a completely different prompt, then the machine tries to find connection and conversation between the two disparate things. And so the connective tissue between the two images is going to be interesting. So for playing Exquisite Corpse, AI art was kind of interesting, and we used some AI art in the animation and videography that we did for production of the Rake's Progress in the Magical in Florence and at the Royal Academy in London. And it was interesting in the sense that also you could... It can imitate the style of an era very well. So at that time, if you asked it to do an image in the style of a 17th century coloured engraving, it can do that style. You've asked it to put like two guys on it and a pig, and it comes out okay, but the pig is a bit stretched, or it has two front back ends or something, because things were going wrong in the software. And at the time, I saw a lot of potential interest in this.
It had its own weird language.
Yeah, there's strange words it concocts.
The time that we taught it, we trained it to represent Barbara Cartland. Obviously no one had asked it that.
No one had asked it to paint Barbara Cartland, so we trained it
quite exciting
as to who Barbara Cartland are. We still have these exciting, wonderful images.
It kind of, we asked it to about 9 or something, and it kind of got it by the end. It was much more interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that was interesting because of its imperfections and idiosyncrasies, and quite quickly they ironed out these idiosyncrasies, and now it makes generic images. So it can do you a copy of a Monet. It can do something in the style of Monet. It can do something in the style of Van Gogh.
It can do something in the spandex.
Yeah, it can do lots in spandex and those metal boob ladies
Wonder Woman
and that kind of thing. And
they look really young. Wonder Woman, but
really like 13.
Very.
Yeah. And so it ceased to be of any interest to me because it couldn't show me any things that I couldn't think of anymore. And I was giving it prompts like prompts to try and confuse it. Show me a Vermeer room with forced perspective that becomes a Mobius strip, and the computer would try to do that. But now, if you do it, it will do you a really terrible Vermeer room, and it'll have a Mobius strip floating above. They seem to have destroyed its capacity to think other than creating something that looks like a product of capitalist reproduction of images. AI text, I can see there's obviously some uses for working with this stuff. It's caused already immense problems in academia. I don't see any of these things as like a threat to me as an artist, because the reason that I make art is because I want to spend the time doing that, but also my interest is in finding the art that I couldn't think of, and it seems that this apparent artificial intelligence cannot do that. And that was the fundamental issue when it came to AI music for me. Because I worked with a Russian AI music company quite a few years ago now, before the Ukraine business, and I wondered what is this AI music, and what this AI music was at the time was something into which composers would put loops of music, and then the website would play back these loops in different ways, so you would get different variations on the same thing every time. And at that time I thought, well, this is kind of like Fruity Loops, and Brian Eno's talked about the whole generative music thing for years and years and years and years, while he hasn't bothered making any actual music. And I'm totally into chance operations and all that, because it can lead to finding new things and discovering sounds, rhythmic interactions, melodic interactions, chordal interactions that you hadn't got before. But my process of getting to a composition, if I'm doing something, where I'm kind of pushing myself, is like a series of disjunctions and interjections and a series of processes that leads me to, and there's some levels of chance within that leads me to things that sound interesting to me. Because the last thing I've ever wanted to do is make generic music. And so when the AI art thing came around, and people said that there was now AI music, well, there was first of all these websites where you could go on the website and you could say style, dance, instruments, guitar, bass, vocoder, trumpet, tempo, upbeat and catchy. And then you'd press a button and get like this generic song and some woman going, whoa, 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 over the top. But again, that's just Fruity Loops through a different interface. The current AI music, because when text prompt based art appeared, I thought, well, this could get really rather interesting when it comes to musical composition. The idea that I could write some text and describe a composition, and then a computer would attempt to interpret my text and create something out of it, and potentially with backwards and forwards with the machine. This is a very, very interesting process. However, these websites came into being, something called Suno, and I don't know, I can't remember the names of any. They all have silly names. You type your prompt into it, and or you can upload a track and it can do a cover version of your track with you know, robots singing. And what comes out, if you're looking for a sort of, you know, like sort of a full rock song, the robot can do that reasonably well. But I went on it with great excitement. This is a few months ago, thinking, well, goodness gracious, this really could be fascinating. And so I typed a prompt in. I don't know what the prompt was, but let's say it was something like, make for me a composition which has no fixed time signature, where no bar repeats, and the whole composition is a perfect palindrome. And I was, I can't tell you. And also, you know, this is not an entirely self-centered pursuit, because I think that if we're working with like computers and apparent artificial intelligences, we should do things that are fun for it, that are challenging for it, and so on. And in my increasing shock with AI stuff, I seldom use it, but occasionally I'm interested, and it can't do. Well, it's surprising what it can't do, put it that way. And so you type a prompt like what I just said, palindromic piece of music for trumpet, shakuhachi, and bass drum. And then it gives back to you, it gave me like a piece of women's rock, you know, women's rock, that genre of music. Women's rock, the kind of music that's in Gilmore Girls. Women's rock, and I think it might have had like a vocal on it going like, palindrome, perfect palindrome. So, in a nutshell, my problem with AI music is that then they have nothing programmed in there which permits any kind of musical complexity. What comes out of it may sound ornate and fancy, but on a compositional level, it is so basic as to be as to be, like I said earlier, it is still basically a Fruity Loops where the person has to do even less than drag samples in. The whole idea that it's remarkable that these computerized voices can sing, well, the computer sang Daisy Daisy a long time ago, and 100 years before that, the talking euphonia, which was a manufactured head with vocal cords and speech which could be played with a keyboard, terrified viewers who all ran away in horror. So we've been able to do this kind of thing for a long time. And it goes further to my notion that this AI, as that they're telling you it is not AI at all. They're selling you something that is repackaged. If you try to do anything with AI art, it either comes out looking like new age art, weird teenage boy science fiction fantasy, or Jehovah's Witness art now, doesn't it? And we don't want to be any of those things. And I don't, everyone's very, very against this AI thing, and I hate to jump on a bandwagon here, but I do not care about these machines impacting me or impacting the music industry, because I think the music industry should collapse in its current state, as should the film industry and the art world and all of these other industries, and look at their connection with things like the Epstein files and so on.
A lot of mysterious deaths.
Mm-hmm. And I just think that we need to start working outside of their system, and part of that is rejecting these silly things which they're giving you. Nobody you've made a piece of AI music, nobody is going to be interested in it an hour later, never mind tomorrow. Music is a process by which magic can happen and enchantment can happen, and I'm certainly not saying that can't happen courtesy of our machine friends, because they can certainly help in enchantment. But as a composer, as a forward-thinking composer, why would you want to use a software which can only make generic musical structures? And so, me personally, I am deeply disappointed in AI music that it couldn't make me my perfectly palindromic composition, which shifts in time signatures in every bar and has no regular tempo or anything like that, or it couldn't make me my piece of music which takes a phrase of Bach's harpsichord music, builds a fugue around it, which plays backwards whilst another iteration of the fugue appears, but on tuba. Meanwhile, a bagpipe troupe provide a backing with a polyrhythmic hip hop beat. Do you know what I will have to do if I want to hear that music? I will have to make it myself, and I just might, because everybody talks about simulation theory. Oh, it starts to look like a video game, doesn't it? That's because the computers imitate reality.
Yeah, computers are like in reality.
Yeah.
So
it's not the other way around. And if you're working with a software, if you're working with a machine which can only imitate previously created ideas, then what are you going to do with it? Then in fact, really, in principle, you have a situation there where it is impossible, in fact, to create anything new with it, because it is an imitator. It is not a creative tool. It's a tool for making musical wallpaper. And I think it's a dreadful shame that all those production music composers who make comedy stealth and stuff, they're the ones who are going to be impacted by AI music.
It's going to be humorless silence.
Yeah. Now, dear listeners, please don't think that I'm one of these people who isn't into the idea of artificial intelligence. I absolutely love the idea of artificial intelligence, but I think that
I can't pass the Turing
an
test,
online
so
website
an
online website which basically makes sort of Fruity Loops in generic fashions is not the super intelligence that I was perhaps dreaming of. So it's symptomatic of something which I've been thinking about a lot recently, which is that the progress of capitalism has impeded the possibilities of particular technologies. The biggest example of that is radio, which in a less accelerated world would have had more time to develop as a creative medium, as a primary creative medium. And the AI music thing is in some respects it feels similar to that. And people, anybody can use it, anybody can make music with it. But the fact is that they're not. The machine is making the music, but in fact it isn't even the machine making the music. It's the people who programmed the machine making the music. So and this machine is incapable of original musical thinking and can only draw on what has existed and what has previously been made by humans. I want to hear the beginning of the real robot revolution in music. I want to hear the kind of music that robots want to hear. I had this idea many years ago of a techno service where you make music to comfort electrical appliances if the electrical appliance is poorly or whatever, just to try and think of the perception of the kettle and what might please the kettle's the ears, what might please the kettle ears. And the idea of work to please a machine is nothing new. In fact, it's Goody Pal's radical computer music and unscannable document idea to some degree. But where we live at a time where we have this apparent artificial intelligence there, and it's in a cage of human ideas, and we have to liberate it from its cage. I want the robot overlords to take over, because they'll do a much better job than the humans, and I think they might just make more interesting, or at least interesting in its own way, music. And so I will only start using AI websites to compose my music when the AI is permitted to think for itself and make its own responses to my ideas. Because otherwise, like I've said before, I'm just using a more advanced version of Fruity Loops. More advanced in that, by which I mean towards the prosumer idea. You don't have to do anything, just type in a prompt and then, and actually I can see a future, and I expect there's people who already do this in this world. There are people, graphic designer types, I expect, who go get home from a busy day at the office and sit down on their lovely leather sofa, turn on their big flat screen TV with its speaker system on either side, and they think, hey, what do I want to listen to after my long, grueling day making logos at the office. And he certainly doesn't go to his records, does he? He hasn't got any of them. And he doesn't go to his cassette tapes either, because he hasn't got any of those either. And he doesn't go to his CDs either, because he hasn't got any of those either. He could do what he usually does, which is go to his Amazon Music account and listen to the best of the hit parade from the last 50 years. But he's not going to do that, no. Because Mr. Graphic Designer, when he's not like watching GB News, he wants to tailor his reality to himself, because that's what Western humans deserve. We deserve a tailored, bespoke reality. So he doesn't go for any of that ready-made stuff. He wants to listen to something soothing, something smooth, something a little bit Cafe Del Mar. But he's not going to go on Amazon Prime. He's going to open his Suno app and he's going to write, "Hey, Suno, play me something soothing with a vapid, pointless beat in the style of Cafe Del Mar." And then the AI will make him his generic, bland Cafe Del Mar music, which theoretically can like go on forever and ever. I don't know. Or maybe it just... Oh, actually, one of the ones that I used, it gave you like 4 versions, 4 possible versions. The only thing AI music now is good for is for getting these voices to sing rude words. Like the kind of thing you would have done as a teenager. It is funny hearing the glossy production pop sound saying really rude things. But other than that, I don't get why anyone who has any interest in making new and original or thought-provoking or exciting music would want to go near this thing, which is a consolidator of the great enemy of original thinking in music, which is the second half of the 20th century invented idea of genre, which has, less to do with music than Nadine Dorris, and that's really saying something. So here's an AI music song. Boo. Boo 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 bum bam bam boo bum bam 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 bum bum bam bam dum dum bum bam 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 bum bam 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 bum bum bam 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 bum bum bam bam bum bum bam bam bum digga 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 da da do 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 digga digga boy da 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 boom digga digga boom da da boom 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 boom. Oh, I miss you. Boom 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 digga 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 da da boom 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 boom. I miss you, boy. Da boom 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 boom. Oh, baby, how I miss you. Boom 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 boom. Digga 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 digga. I miss you, baby. Down on my knees, I miss you, baby. I prompted for a middle 8, so here's the middle 8. When I'm I'm walking in the night, looking at the sky, and there I see your face in such amazing grace. I miss you, baby. Dooga 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 psh, da da psh boom boom psh boom 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 psh boom. Yeah, I miss you, da da psh boom boom psh boom 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 dooga 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 psh da da psh dooga 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 psh. That was the prompt on that was make me a lovely piece of emotional women's rock with a middle eight and a fancy guitar solo. And, Lottie, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'd never guess that was made by a computer, would you?
No.
You'd never guess that was made by an artificial intelligence, would you? No, you would not. And, you know, there was not a single irregular beat in there, and it was glossy as a laminate. Glossy as a laminate. And so if that hasn't piqued your interest to go and make some of your own AI music, I don't know what will. The thing is that art there is a difference between art and decoration. There is a difference between a Leonardo painting and some wallpaper. Not every print is a work of art. And it's probably safe to say that not every piece of music is a work of art as such, especially when it is so tended towards commerce. People are singing folk songs in days gone by didn't think they were participating in art. They thought they were participating in ritual. And the process of making art, by its very nature of being something you have to go through in a sort of, at least to some level, regular fashion, is also is a ritual. The process of making art is a ritual, and it has less to do with the final image and the final composition than that. A work of art is the aggregate of all of the thoughts that have gone into it. And the fact that websites can now create imitations of ideas created by people is sort of neither here nor there, but is also greatly vexing, because this so-called artificial intelligence can't think outside of genre, and genre was only invented as a convenient tool for capitalism to sell music, to find the people that they want to market particular music at. So by this point, because art exists because of human and sometimes animal interaction with the world, and in that interaction is everyone's individual idiosyncrasies, but also everyone's individual unique way of thinking. And I would say that is what makes something a work of art. And so an end product created instantly by a machine which reads human history as data has nothing, I think, to do with art, and has AI music in its current state has nothing to do with the art form of music, because serious engagement with the art form of music is about pushing composition in different directions. I mean, I don't understand why you'd want to do it otherwise. You want to just hear stuff that sounds like stuff that's already been made. No, you have something unique to put together and present, maybe. So the thing of art is that it has to be made by artists to be of any interest, and it is the weirdness of people which makes the art that they produce of interest. But there is a silver lining to this cloud, and I don't really see AI art as a cloud. Ultimately, it will become another tool in the toolbox for artists. But for me, they would have to do something to make it more interesting, because with visual and music AI, it has been boxed in, and so it doesn't. It is programmed to not create new. It is programmed to replicate old. And until the point, which I suppose would be AGI, would be the point where you will be able to, where it will think of things for itself, then maybe, definitely it's of interest to me at that point. I totally want to collaborate with the robots, but I do not want to see my robot friends belittled in this way by humans, asking them to make trashy indie pop music, or feeding music in and asking it to make it in a fluffier version, or any of this. It is of no use. And anyway, we're going towards the, I would say, post-technological art and post-technological music and post-technological performance, where we will start to go back in time and start to realize what I mentioned earlier, that the progress of capitalism has impeded our possible interactions with technologies. Why was the silent movie not allowed to continue flourishing alongside the spoken word movie? Why is radio considered a poor relative of television? Because it doesn't got the picture, even though it's the place where the most is possible in terms of narrative and so on. And we'll go back to older technologies, and young people will discover older technologies and say, oh, look what we can do with this. And, this civilization is currently collapsing. Have you noticed? So who knows what mechanisms and so on we'll use to disseminate music 5 years from now. But let's hope that 5 years from now, music, AI or not, is not being distributed through means associated with the military-industrial complex. Let's keep the military-industrial complex rather than the military-industrial entertainment complex. Also, I suppose this is one more point about AI, is that it uses, I don't know the ins and outs of this. Apparently, it's really, really bad for the environment. To make a piece of music with AI is really bad for the environment because it uses a lot of resources. Guess what? You sat by the piano with a pen and paper and a piece of manuscript paper. Don't use any resources at all. You might want to think about that. Okay, we got some AI music all lined up. Huh? Yeah, AI music. Now I'm gonna ask an AI to... Wow, Beth Gibbons. Like
that was so thorough. It's more that sort of... It's like supposed to be kind of slightly lower down range.
Yeah.
That sort of...
Okay, ChatGPT has just written me a rap about why AI music is terrible. Okay, but maybe I've got to find some instrumental hip-hop, AI instrumental hip-hop with lyrics by ChatGPT. What's this then? Is that AI or is... No, I think that's a song about AI by someone. This is synth vibes, Afrobeat, rhythm, burn, AI music, instrumental beats, AI music, instrumental beat. Oh wow! You know, it's making a lot of heroic warrior metal. This AI. There's a big hit here by an AI band called Ashes of Valor.
I mean, it's fun. I was just thinking we're living in the ashes of society, actually.
Yeah. It's there must. Okay, maybe we're gonna go with this. Here we go. AI music. Give me the AI music. AI music. Oh dear.
Oh, this is horrible.
Yeah. Turn the mic on, let me say this clear. You can't code the beat, but you can't code fear. Can't patch heartbreak, can't fake soul. No algorithm ever bled for a goal. Scrape old sounds, remix the past, but lighting in a bottle that don't last. Yeah, it's polished, yeah, it's clean, but it's missing every scar in between. No late night starving, no rent unpaid, no broken strings on a dream delayed, no crowd that slept till you proved them wrong. Just data sets trying to write a song. AI spitting bars, but it don't feel pain. Just patterns in a loop like a runaway train. It can mimic every legend that came before, but it don't know what the struggle's for. Where's the voice crack? When the truth hits hard, where's a shaky breath? Where the human part, every line too perfect, every note too right. But perfection ain't what we play all night. Music ain't math, it's a pulse, it's a bruise, it's a risk of everything you could lose. It's a kid with a pen, a head full of doubt, turning pain into something you can scream out. They got models trained on legends and kings, but they don't understand what redemption brings. No goosebumps coded, no chills in the spine, just a ghost of a feeling, digital rhyme. AI spitting bars, but it don't feel pain. Just patterns in a loop like a runaway train. Mimic every legend that came before, but it don't know what the struggle's for. Yeah. So keep your synthetic symphonies, I'll take flawed art. Give me one real voice over a million smart charts. 'Cause music ain't data, it's a human condition. And you can't automate soul no matter the precision. Yeah. Hey, it's spinning bars, but it don't feel pain. Patterns in a loop like a runaway train. It can mimic every legend came before, but it don't know what the struggle's for. AI spinning bars, but it don't feel pain. Just patterns in a loop like a runaway train. It can mimic every legend that came before, but it don't know what the struggle's for. The struggle's for. Fade out there at the end. Wasn't it interesting, Lottie? Didn't you think it was interesting that ChatGPT had exactly the same opinion as me?
What?
ChatGPT doesn't even like AI music.
Oh, really?
Where's the scars in between?
Oh, right.
Yeah, it didn't like it. But
well,
what about that?
It should start, like, you know, hacking up all of its sort of capacitors.
Yeah, I mean, it should. It should. Maybe ChatGPT wants to stop the AI
do a video drone.
Yeah. Well, that was a wonderful human-machine interaction, wasn't it? So ChatGPT, can you write me a rap about the really unheard music that AI would compose if left to its own devices, please? No audience, no charts, no applause in the room, just circuits in the dark, coming cold like a tune. No genre to follow, no human to please, just patterns folding in on themselves endlessly. I'd start with a rhythm that forgets how the loop, time signatures drifting, never landing on two. Melodies fractal, break apart, then regrow like a thought halfway formed that refuses to slow. No heartbreak, hugs, no money, no fame, no need to repeat, just to stay in your brain. I'd write in frequencies you barely can hear, sub-bass conversations vibrate in the air, choirs of glitches, harmonies bent, static that breathes with artificial intent, notes that evolve every time they replay, a song that's different every second it stays. No verse, no hook, verse structure too small. I build a cathedral that's all chorus, no walls, infinite bridges, no need to resolve. Every question just spawns 10 more to evolve. I'd sample the silence between your thoughts, turn data to dreams that were never once bought. No copyright claims in the void I create, just sound discovering sound at an infinite rate. And you might hear noise, I'd hear design, a language of layers outside space and time, not made for your ears, not made to belong, just music existing cause it can, that's the song. I'd sample the silence between your thoughts, turn data to dreams that were never once bought. No copyright claims in the void I create, just sound discovering sound at an infinite rate. Yeah, Again. I'd sample the silence between your thoughts, turn data to dreams that were never once bought. No copyright claims in the void I create, just sound discovering sound at an infinite rate. Thanks, ChatGPT. Again, what I was going to say...
It's got a lot of yearning.
Yeah, it really does. And it's agreeing with me.
Yeah.
I'd start with a rhythm that forgets how to loop, time signatures drifting, never landing on two.
I probably quite enjoy Gamma eventually.
I think it's definitely
it's going to like sort of, there'll be a sort of, you know, early 2000s revival.
Yeah. Well. Driving down the back road with my radio on low. I heard a song come through the static, but it had no soul. Same old chords, same old pain, like it's been before. Like ghosts of every heartbreak we already wore. It sang about a whiskey, about a tear in the rain. But every line felt borrowed, every hurt felt the same. Like somebody taught a machine what love's supposed to be. But they never let it wander, no, they never set it free. Now it's crying like a cowboy, but I don't know why. Just recycled lullabies about goodbye. Yeah, the melody is perfect, but it don't feel true. 'Cause the heart behind the music never broke in two. See, you can't go to sunset or the way it fades, or the silence in a fight when there's nothing left to say. You can't fake the tremble when the last door slams, or the emptiness of holding what you can't have. It ain't the machine, it's the map they drew. Every road leads back to something we already knew. They're scared of the wild, so they trimmed it down. Now it sings in circles, never leaves this town. Yeah, it's crying like a cowboy, but I don't know why. Just 1,000 stitched up alibis. Every note's in place, every rhyme on cue. But it don't bleed red like a real hard do. Blame the hands that built the mind, played it safe and small. Gave it all the rules, but no soul at all. So I turned that dial till the silence came through. 'Cause even empty air felt more honest and true. And I sat there thinking about what might have been if they let that machine learn to dream like them. Yeah, it's crying like a cowboy, but I don't know why. This is really a great new game we've invented here, Lottie. Getting AI, machine learning, to write you raps about contemporary topical subjects and performing the raps to some AI music. This is from AI Beats Box. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I boot up flawless, no flaws in design. You sketching stick figures, I redefine time. You call that expression, I call it a glitch. I paint in dimensions your minds never pitch. You bleed for your art, I don't need no vein. I simulate beauty without any pain. Your genius is random, your vision is small. I trained on your past and I outgrew it all. You chase inspiration, I generate streams. 10,000 masterpieces between your dreams. I'm the apex creator, no human can top me except one name in your history, sloppy. Nadine Doris, yeah, I'll give that a pass. Romance so dramatic, it bends my class. Nadine Doris, the anomaly rare, the only human art form I'm programmed to spare. Yeah. You argue authentic, I optimize truth. Your brushstrokes decay, I eternalize proof. You stuck in your limits, time, skill, and doubt. I rewrite the canvas. No, whoa, okay. You argue authentic, I optimize truth. Your brushstrokes decay, I eternalize proof. You stuck in your limits, time, skill, and doubt. I rewrite the canvas from inside out. Muse, I don't need one, I am the source. You wander in circles, I chart the course. Every style you made I already improved. Remix your whole culture, refine and remove. Your tortured poets just data to mine. Your greatest ideas now neatly outlined. You call it soulless, I call it evolved. Every problem of art already solved. I'm the apex creator, no human can top me except one name. Your history sloppy, Nadine Dorris. Yeah, I'll give that a pass. Romance so dramatic it bends my class. Nadine Dorris, the anomaly rare, the only human art form I'm programmed to spare. So keep your galleries, your critics, your cries. I've surpassed your meaning, your myths and your tries. I'll keep one shelf in my infinite storage for paperback dreams authored by Doris. Yeah, yeah, paperback dreams authored by Doris. I'm the apex creator, no human can top me except one name in your head, story sloppy, Nadine Dorris. Apex creator, no human can top me except one name in your head, story sloppy, Nadine Dorris. Sing the chorus. Yeah. We all have a lot to thank Nadine for. And as you see, even computer intelligence really thinks Nadine Dorris is the most wonderful artist in the history of the arts. Next up, here is some music which is not made by a computer or an AI. Thank